Hey, it's Vincent here, and today I wanted to talk about more of a serious topic, more of the philosophical side, and more of a thinking question, I guess. I don't know. Did like I like how easy it was to make last video, but honestly, I feel like it was really easy to make, and there was really no effort behind it, in my opinion, and I feel like that's why I did very poorly. I felt like I rushed the thumbnail. I felt like I rushed the whole video. So this one has a little bit more meaning because I thought about the question. And yesterday I was thinking, like, how do you grow as a person? Like, how do you evolve? Because it's not like, it's not like a video game where I can do X amount of things and I will evolve in a certain way. Like, it's just not possible. And it had me thinking, like, how do you evolve as a person? Like, how do you grow as a person? And I was thinking about like friendships and friends. Over the time, my friends have really changed, as in they have like, they changed for the better, and some have changed for the worse, and some, you don't talk to. And this past couple of months, I've been hanging out with new people in my life, and they're older than me, and they're only older than me by a couple of years, but it feels like a big age gap between us two. They're 20 and I'm 18. So it's only 2 years, but those 2 years seem so much to me. Like they seem like they do enjoy their lives. They seem happy. And it's kind of weird because you know, um, they're not like super rich. Like, when they see a menu, they'll, get sometimes they'll get the cheapest thing. And they're just more of like just to save money, not because like they're dirt poor, but that gives you an idea, they're not like the 1%, but they're happy and they have so many things. They think in a different way, but how they think is like they value I feel like they value emotions more than things. Like some people would rather be sad but have their favorite car, you know, but these people would rather, have the worst car ever but be happy. And that really changed like how I thought about a lot of things. Like not to only go for certain things just because it's valuable or something. Like I feel like I need to enjoy stuff around me more. Like they really humbled me in that way. Like as in I feel like they like how they lived was teaching me like, you know, it's okay to like pause and enjoy like these things in your life. Like they're they're really good at showing that. Like I felt like it was like crazy, like, even though they're only 2 years older than me, they it changed my life so much, and I feel like, there's people in your life that will change your life a lot or a little, and it just happened to be a lot, like, it seems more clear, like, there's a lot of things that, I'm just anxious about or I'm, like, not really educated on or, I'm really nervous about, and when I talk to them and I hear them and I, hear what they think, it changes my mind. Like, I felt like there was a lot of things in my life where they're kind of it's cloudy, like it's kind of foggy. Like I really don't know what it is. And talking to them, it shows like me, like, it's okay. Like, there's more color into the world in a way. And I just think like that's kind of crazy how it changed. And I and that's what it gets me tied to is that what really like a one way to really evolve is to really understand the people around you. It's it's true. You are who you hang out with. Like it's one thing that you'll hear your whole life, but it's completely true. And I look at, who they hang out with. I hanged out with my friends as in I hanged out with their cousins, I hanged out with their friends, and I hanged out, with their family, and they're all quite the same. They're all really happy. They all enjoy each other's time. And that's the same with my family, but there's just a lot of things that happen, and there's a lot of times where you can't really go out as much because something happened and you have to invest time to help that thing. And I it really looks like their family, like, just because I'm from the outside, this is just me speculating, like, this is from me, the information I have, but they look happy. They look like everybody's smiling, everybody's happy to see who, everybody really knows each other on a personal level. And it doesn't really feel like that with my family. It's not like it's my family's fault, but it's mainly like my fault because I'm not the type of person to really go out. I'm not the type of person to go to parties. Like, I don't really like going out as much back then, but now I do. I like hanging out with people, but I feel like because how I was naturally always isolating myself. I would never build these connections with my cousins. And the my cousins know so much about each other, but they don't know anything about me, or I don't know anything about them. And it's not really their fault. It's mainly like it's only my fault because I'm the one who chose to stay inside. I'm the one who thought playing video games was more important than spending time with family. And it had changed my thought process a lot. Like, my friend, she only has like a PlayStation 4, and she's never on, her console. And she generally likes going outside. She plays basketball and stuff like that. And it had me thinking, like, yes, I love video games, and yes, I love my computer, I love my setup, but there's a point in time where I feel like I was obsessed with it and I didn't treat it as like a hobby or something. Like, I think I was more obsessed with it than a hobby. Like, it was taking a lot of my time. Like, it was making me like really unhealthy, and made me like really antisocial. Like, it made me stay inside. So I've been playing a little bit less, not as much, and I've been going outside more. I've been playing basketball. I've been trying to go to the gym more, and I've been hanging out with people more in real life, and it's been really fun. And I feel like I would never really have done that if it wasn't for my new friend. And I feel like that is changing me. It's making me be a better person. It's making me grow as a better person. That is one way I think you can grow. Oh shit. And that is one way I think you can grow as a person, is to really evaluate what who you hang out with. Like, just stop one day and truly like look at each person you hang out with. It's not more as in judging, but it's where you draw the line for your morals. It's like, we all, you have a friend that makes racist jokes or says racial slurs. Are you still willing to have that around you? Or, you know, that's like what I mean. Like, there's people that have negative traits. I'm not saying I'm a perfect person. Like, there was times where my friends like should have dropped me just because of how I was acting, or being immature or stuff like that. But as time goes on and they for some reason held on to the friendship, I've changed as a person. I've matured and I'm trying to grow up, trying to evolve. I'm trying to be a better person in general. And that's where you have to see, like, let's say your friend does say such things like that, you know, don't drop them right away. In some circumstances, like, you're gonna have to because they're just not willing to change. But if you're willing to have a deep conversation and willing to put out that effort where it's like, I think you should stop saying this because it's wrong and it hurts, this and that. Or, maybe they're not, saying horrible things, but they're just a little bit immature for their age, or they're just not really dialed in. And you might have to have that conversation with a friend where it's like, I don't really see any like motivation behind you. Like I don't, when I see like you, like you don't really seem like you care about your future. And that's a big thing in your life is that you want to surround people that want big things in their life. Because if, let's just say, if four of your friends all became rich, there's a high possibility of you becoming rich. Does that mean hang out with people that only want to be rich? No, but if there's people in your life and they genuinely want to grow as a person and they want to do things better in their own way, then be friends with those type of people. Don't be friends with the people that are okay with where they're at. Like they're okay, doing the bare minimum. They're okay like not trying to evolve as a person. Like they're okay being average. And it's not a huge thing to be average, but there's a huge thing where there's certain things in your life or that are average that shouldn't be average, or there's things in your life that you're below average at and they shouldn't be below average. Like I don't have like the average body, the average bod. Like I don't know, I don't have like the most attractive bod, but I want to look good. Like I want to look healthy. I want to slim down. And if I was perfectly okay with the weight I was and the most heavy weight I was, you know, why would my friends want to be friends with me? Like, you know, it's like if I'm at a certain weight where it's really unhealthy and I know the health conditions, I know like the probabilities of what's going to happen if I stay this weight, or, in that time of line or that type of line. And if I just do nothing about it, like why would my friends be friendly? Why would they be friends with me if I don't care about my health or something like that? And that's what I'm getting at is that if these people just don't really care about their lives to a certain point, don't bother being friends with them. Don't put yourself in that type of group because it really matters who your friends are. It really matters, what they think about certain things because that's that's a part of you. Like your closest friends when you're young are gonna be big part of you. Like they're gonna be a huge factor in your life. That's how it feels right now. Like it feels right now that my friends are a huge part of my life, and I think it should be normal. I hope so. I hope I don't sound like a weirdo, but they are like my friends mean so much to me, and now thinking about it, like I truly want to grow as a person. And if there's people in my life that just don't want to grow as themselves, like they don't want to chase something, they have no ambitions in their life, then in reality, I don't want to be friends with you. It's not gonna, it's just like, why? And, it's okay if you have a friend that's just stuck, like they don't know what they want to do, but they have an idea, like they don't know what they want to do, but they want to do better, then that's perfectly fine. But if you have a friend that doesn't know what they want to do and they don't want to do better, then that's where the problem is. And I believe that's one of the biggest ways to grow if you're younger. If you're a younger person, if you're barely entering high school, truly look at your friend group. Truly look at the friends around you. And if they all seem fake or if you have a big problem with any of them, truly look at that problem. Is this problem like something minor, like they stepped on your shoes one time? Or is this a problem major where they're, making certain jokes or they're making fun of you or, they're just rude to you? And if you truly believe that you don't need that type of person in your life or you don't want to be like that type of person in your life, or if you don't want to have any single traits that they do, then don't be that person's friend. That's where you evolve. That's where you choose what's right and what's wrong. That's where you draw your own morals. And it's good to have morals. there's no reason like why, like why not, if I feel like everybody should have morals. I feel like there should be no reason to have zero morals. That's what I'm trying to get at. But that's like what I've been thinking about most in my life is like how do I truly, grow as a person? Because right now, like I'm fully awake, like I'm fully conscious, like I fully understand that I'm a human being in this world, like I'm a grown adult, I'm 18, like my life has to get moving. And that's why I want to do YouTube. Like this is my dream. This is my dream. This is what I want to do. I understand that there is good money in this. I understand that I'm not only doing this for money. I'm doing this because I truly love doing this. Like this is, I really love YouTube, and I know in a lot of these videos I go on and on about me talking about YouTube guys, but you have to realize that this is what I grew up on. This is what I love. This is what I'm truly passionate about in life. So if I always go on and on about YouTube, it's because you're hearing a person talk about their dreams. And that's what their dream should be. It's where you talk and talk and talk about it. Like you can nonstop talk about it. That's why like when I'm like I said, like I'm fully conscious, like I fully know what I want, as my dream. Like I know what my dream job is. And another thing is to grow as a person, you have to make decisions for yourself. That's why I say the best way to grow is to truly look at your friend group. You're making that decision where you're looking at these characters. And it understands it coming off of judging, but this is one of those times where you have to understand that if these people are like truly flawed in your eyes, like, are you willing to even put in the energy to talk to them or just drop them alone? And just because someone is doing bad things doesn't mean they can be a good person. You know, I would use myself as a perfect example. I wasn't the most mature guy, I wasn't the most, um, you know, let's just say like, oh, I don't know, like there's just it's a weird topic to get about, but I just wasn't a perfect guy in general. So you could put it into your own mind, your own words. But it's not like I was proud about it. It's something I truly regret. I truly regret being immature in those ways. But that's the thing is that just because, I was being bad or saying bad things doesn't mean I can be a better person later on. So don't be quick to judge. Understand why these people say these things. Understand their lives. There's people that have horrible situations and they're mad at the world. So that's why they say these, hurtful stuff. And not everybody has the same life as you. Everybody's different from each other. So be wary when you're quick to judge. And the thing is, if that person means something to you, and you see what they do is wrong, but you want them to do good, then explain why it's wrong. Don't say you're this and this. Don't call them bad things because it's gonna make them naturally do more bad things. If I keep calling this person like a thief, he's gonna steal more because he feels like that's the only thing he's gonna be known as. So why change? And that's the thing is that when you see people doing wrong, don't yell, don't do, unless it's something serious, then yes, yell. But if it's something not serious, like harmful or like physically harmful, then don't yell, don't call names, don't fight fire with fire. Simply ask questions, like to understand the person. I feel like that's a major thing that we are missing out as a society is that we're quick to judge. We're quick to drop the axe on someone. We're quick to put someone in the guillotine when yet we have not fully understand the scenario as a society. There's so many times a group of people are willing to jump the gun just because they see 50% or 10% of the problem instead of looking at the full problem. And that's one thing that kind of gets me worried is in life we see so many examples of people jumping the gun because they only know so little information. And that's just a huge thing in life. And because of that thought process, and we see it so much that we normalize it as a group of humans. These people in the world, like, there's people in the world that they get hurt because someone doesn't know the full story. There's people that truly die because they don't know the full story. You know, there's people that will always get hurt because someone's not fully educated on something. And it's not their fault because, it's a bad thing alone, but here's the thing, I'm not giving an excuse, I'm explaining why it happens. It's because we all just go with it. We all take 10% of a side and we go with that side. That's why we're always split as groups because we truly don't know the information. If we truly knew the information about so many things, if we truly took, the time out of our day to understand something fully, then there wouldn't be so many problems in the world. And that's the one thing that truly gets me sad thinking about it is that how many lives were truly hurt because someone didn't want to go the extra step to fully understand something. There's been times where um people don't know like what's going on and they're willing to hurt somebody else because they hear 10% of someone's story. And that's a weird thing and it's true. It happens to so many sides. It could be someone younger using their age to abuse an older person, and they'll just believe the younger person, or it might happen the opposite way where people would rather believe the older person than the younger person. And, you know, we're so quick to jump the gun as a society that we hurt ourselves jumping to the conclusion. Like that's that's how much we do it that it's to the point we hurt each other. We hurt each other as people when we should not be doing that. And that's my thing is that we have to grow. We always want to be better. And that's a perfect thing. That's not something to, you know, say something bad about. There's no way you can prove being better at something is horrible for you. If you're a better chef, why would that be horrible for you? And that's just one of the things I care about is, people not jumping the gun. Like I feel like a lot in our world is judging. We're always judging people. We're always assuming so many things and I feel like why judge someone when they can judge you back? Like I am a believer of Christ and here's the perfect story when I say judging is bad. There was this one time where I'm sorry that I don't know the names. I just know the story. There was this one time there was this girl and she got caught for adultery. She was cheating on her husband. And everybody in that village was like let's kill her, like let's stone her. Like they wanted to throw rocks. So um and nobody was willing to help the girl. And then Jesus comes here and he says, "You want to stone her? Okay, stone her. But you can only throw a stone if you never sin." And everybody sins. Everybody has done something bad. And, that's my story is that like we're so willing to judge even though we've done things ourselves. Like we're so willing to call someone cringe, but we were all cringe in one point of our lives. I'm a cringy person. Like I'm pretty cringe. Like I can understand like why people don't fuck with me because like I'm a cringy guy. Like, you know, and why, what gives me the right to make fun of someone for being cringy when I'm cringy? That's what I'm getting at is that why would we be quick to judge someone for doing, a bad thing when we also did a bad thing? Like, it's just one of those things that kind of I'm really passionate about is not judging people, like accepting people for who they are and if they've done bad, like to understand why they did bad, what put them in that position and helping them grow. And that's the thing is, how can you help yourself grow, but how can you help your peers grow? And that's the question I'll leave you with that. So I was trying to sound cool. I fucked that up. But I'll leave you with that question and comment down below what you truly think about this topic. If you have something to say or if there's some type of question you want me to answer, and I'll make a video about it. Like and subscribe and stay blessed.